Hi guys, Malika from Platinum Fund is with you. We have conducted plenty of job interviews and we want to share some tips on how to get ready for a job interview in IT. If you want to find out how to structure your interview, what to start with and what to pay attention to, and finally which errors to avoid, watch the video till the end. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in comments. And don't forget to give us a like and follow us for more useful tips. On our real experience, we have to deal with plenty of candidates and we have collected a huge amount of information about the main challenges the majority of candidates face. So we base our tips on personal experience and real feedback from our partner companies. Some people believe that they have just to have great technical knowledge and with it they will manage any job interview. Why then do they need the analysis of all those mistakes that are made during an interview? However, just the knowledge about your job is not sufficient. If you know what mistakes you've made during a job interview which wasn't successful, it helps you to set priorities correctly. It happens that people are concentrated on one aspect only and forget about other important details. For example, they may know coding but forget about English. And if one applies for a job in an international company, English is one of their priorities. Moreover, learning a language isn't a fast and easy process. Many candidates don't have any idea that they are making mistakes during an interview. So a detailed analysis helps them to understand it. As an example, let's check the imaginary situation. Somebody in your team or your employee doesn't manage to provide the expected results. What would you do? Most people would say that business is business and everybody shall work properly. It sounds logical. However, in American companies, it is common to be more understanding. For example, a person may be going through some crisis. The person may be experiencing a burnout. Something may be happening in the family. These are just some reasons why work may be moved to a second place. And if in such a situation a manager doesn't show any understanding or doesn't try to find out what is happening, it's better not to consider the person for a managerial position. Some candidates don't understand their strengths and weaknesses. It happens that after the job interview, a candidate believes he wouldn't get the job offer, but in the end he gets the job offer. Or it also happens that a person believes that everything was perfect, but in the end he doesn't get the job offer. It happens because people don't pay attention to some important details during an interview, or don't have a clear idea about their strengths and weaknesses. Now let's check the most common mistakes that candidates make. The most frequent reason why good specialists are declined a job is their weak English. Even though a specialist is suitable, if communication is a problem, he won't get the job offer. The weak English impacts every interview. A bad code means you will fail in a couple of sessions, but bad English means that you will fail all the sessions. Because you will be spending too much time and effort on trying to understand what is required. And for the task, no time will be left. And even the most skilled specialist will get a lower salary if he doesn't know English than an average specialist who speaks English fluently. How to improve it? English shall be your priority number one. If you have to improve your coding skills, you can do it within a couple of weeks. But if you need to improve your English, it will take much more time. Prepare whatever you need to talk about in advance. Those are usually something about yourself and about your projects. Check them and practice them with somebody who knows English, with your teacher maybe. Practice coding and system design interviews in English. Prompt.com is a good resource to do so. There, you are given another specialist and you interview each other in English in turn. This also will help you to get used to different accents. It's not enough just to watch movies. Movies will help you to improve the listening skills, but not speaking. That's why you shall try to speak, not only listen. Your English doesn't have to be impeccable, it's enough for people to understand you. You may speak English, but still not be able to communicate. A common example is when the candidate doesn't ask questions and jumps into providing a solution before really understanding the task at hand. The thing is that all tasks are formulated in an open-end way so that each task can be interpreted in different ways. That's why you should ask about all the requirements. It is also important to explain why you do this or that. For example, if you are working on a task and using a specific method, you shall be able to explain why you did it. When you change an implementation without explaining why, it is also a negative sign for the interviewer. For example, you start writing code and then suddenly change all and start again. Explain why you do it. Is it a new solution? Why did you decide that the old one wouldn't work? Explain to the interviewer the changes. These were technical aspects. But not only technical aspects impact the job interview negatively. For example, a candidate may not reply to the question directly. So, after many efforts, the interviewer may not receive the information he is asking about. Another problem is that people don't specify whether the tasks and projects they were working on were important, or how important these projects were and why. If it was a relevant project and you took part of it, mention it. How to fix the communication issue? Practice! Remember this framework when you are preparing a reply to a question. STAR: situation, task, action, and result. This framework will help you make your reply clear, structured, logical, and will help you to avoid missing important details. Prepare a checklist for your reply. It will help you to remember important details. Practice job interviews on prompt.com or somewhere else and ask for feedback. Practice English. So, a job interview is like a date. That means that you have to learn about the company, figure out why you can be useful for them, and also what is interesting for you there. If you understand why this company is good for you and why they can be interested in you, they may select you even though there will be other strong candidates. Don't hesitate to ask. Questions shall not be the ones that can be easily Googled. You can ask whatever you need or whatever bothers you. Doing so will convey your interest. Many people cannot tell about themselves and their experience. Some candidates believe they haven't had anything interesting, any projects worth talking about. Others are too critical to themselves. So prepare all these stories in advance. Mention projects that you liked, that were relevant for your professional development. Don't be shy, otherwise you will be perceived as not having an interesting background, not having much experience. And this is not good. Respect your experience, your knowledge, and make others respect you. Practice is critical for the technical part of the interview. It is valid everywhere. You will be asked to solve practical tasks, and some of them shall be done almost automatically. Moreover, they all are limited in time. So you have to know how to solve the standard tasks and solve them without thinking too much and by using standard methods. And English. Again, to understand the task, you need to know English. Otherwise, you will run out of time. Manage your time properly. Here is how you can do it. Your interviewer may want to ask many questions, so be precise when replying. Don't deviate. Communicate to the interviewer. Try to understand what is expected from you. Ask specifying questions if needed. Prepare yourself for a job interview. Ask the interviewer what you will be asked and what to prepare. In some cases, preparation means literally taking a couple of weeks to improve some skills, coding, etc. For example, if a person is very interested in a position but knows that some skills are missing, he can ask for some time to improve these skills. Some companies offer this option, and it is a very positive sign for you as a candidate. It conveys your interest and that you want to make an additional effort to get this job. Don't give up. It happens that after a session which, in the candidate's opinion, was not successful, the candidate gives up. Some even don't try to solve the task. This approach is not correct. The interviewer assesses you, not how you do it. Even if you fail a couple of sessions, you may still be accepted. And in any case, any interview is a valuable experience, even if you don't get a job offer. At least you will know how to proceed, what works for you, and what you need to improve for the next job interview. So, even if you fail, consider the job interview as a free training session. People tend to make their experience in the CV better than it is. If you don't have a specific skill, don't mention it. For example, if you have worked with React some time ago but don't have much experience with it, don't mention it as your top skill. Otherwise, the trust will be lost and it will have the most negative impact on the interview. Make sure you can speak about some details of your past important projects, especially if you mention them in your CV. If you are asked to solve a task, don't just insist on the solutions you offer. Explain the logic behind your decisions. For example, don't just say that here we use Kafka and here Cassandra. The company might be using other technologies. Instead, you could focus on explaining that in this context. Availability is very important. That's why here we need a database with the following options. Mention them. For example, Cassandra. Don't tell them that you choose Cassandra only because you are familiar with it. If you have some issues with the environment, noise, health issues, bad internet connection, etc., those are your issues. Solve them before the job interview or ask to reschedule if necessary. For example, if you have a job interview and your internet connection is bad, you won't manage to handle your task on time and won't be hired. Ask your interview contact about the tools the company uses and practice working with them. It's not critical if you don't have any questions. The decision is usually made not based on whether you ask some questions about the company or not. But if you want to learn about some aspects, ask. It always results in a good impression. So the main issues candidates face are poor English, incorrect assessment of their skills, the lack of practicing. Candidates are sometimes too shy and cannot highlight their importance, or on the contrary, assess themselves too high. Now with our tips, you know how to address these issues and what to pay attention to if you want to get the job of your dreams. Did you like the video? Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to our channel, because in the next videos we will share more useful tips. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments.